not testify, excuse me, public comment. Not testify, sorry, that's a public hearing, sorry, this is a public hearing.
Am I in the wrong place?
No, you're sorry, that's wrong.
I'm Deborah Whitmore. I live in Walla County. I live in Rancho Villa, if you're aware of that village. I'm gonna be straight with you. I read through the permit application materials that Amazon submitted to the county, and something's off. The environmental impacts section mentions water use, energy demand, diesel emissions. That's all fine. We need to know about that. But the problem is, it's not clear if the numbers are for one data center or for all three. That matters a lot. The county commissioners have the power to require clarity on this. They can send the application back and say, we need better information. We need clarity, and they should do exactly that, because no one should be signing off on something this significant without knowing what they're actually approving. The community deserves the level of transparency. The environment deserves that level of protection. Please enact the moratorium so that we can get better information on this.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Supposed to be holding up signs, I get it, but if you're gonna do it, either do it in the back so you're not obstructing other people, or keep them down in front of your chest. Anyone else wishing to make a public comment?
Hello Commissioners, my name is Jessica. I'm a resident of Walla County, and I'd like to thank you for always hosting these open comment periods so that residents may be heard. I'm a leader of the Walla Anti-Data Center League, and we are represented by the legal teams at Earth Justice. I know all three of you have received a letter from one of our attorneys there urging SEPA analysis and enacting a moratorium in our county so we can fully understand the ecological and economic impact that a proposed hyperscale Amazon data center at Walla Gap across from the paper mill will have on our communities. For the public, that letter is openly available on our Facebook page, website, and by public records request. I would like to recap the section in that letter on water usage. It is stated that the existing water rights will be used. However, the difference between agricultural water use and the water usage by a massive data center running 24/7, 365 is incomparable. This data center will drain our water supplies like a full bathtub, with our mountains being at the top of that bathtub. The fires are bad this year, but how much worse will they be if the drain at the bottom of the bathtub widens exponentially? I urge you to please enact a one-year moratorium to allow comprehensive research on the total impact of this project on our communities, and to allow Amazon to have to answer fully accountable for their propositions. Their FAQs and their propositions has been a lot of smoke and mirrors, but we want to see facts. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Hi, I'm Jeannie Ballard. I live out in Tushy, or Gardena Creek, and we have a well, and we're very concerned because we know that the farmers around us are struggling to have enough water for their crops. And one of my neighbors has asked me to ask you these questions, so I'll do it quickly. Please list, if you could, 10 positive environmental effects we will have from the data center. Please, can you tell us how many and which communities you contacted to review their pros and cons of having a data center built near them? Please list for us the top 10 concerns these communities had about the data centers. Did you review the lawsuit against Amazon by Boardman, Oregon? And what did you find out? Please list for me 10 documented reference pros of a data center. Please tell us which environmental studies you reviewed before approval of a data center. What policies, procedures, codes, and enforcements are currently in place for a data center? Are these readily and easily accessible by the general public? What policies and procedures are you going to add to the building of any data centers in our county? Do you have a social media page that updates the community on the progress of the data center? Please list 5 ways that you are being transparent about the data center development. What community organizations have you reached out to notify them of the data center? How have you gone above and beyond to communicate to your constituents about the data center? I only found out about this about 4 weeks ago, just a FYI. What guardrails have you put in place to monitor the building of the data center? If you have not, why have you not done so? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Anyone else wishing to make public comment?
Good afternoon, Daniel Brown. I am a resident of Walla, and I have many concerns about the data center that is proposed to be built near Burbank. We've seen time and time again that these data centers are not just benign warehouse-style operations despite how they're zoned. Amazon put out an FAQ that the county so helpfully published for them on your website. This document says a lot of things, and I want to take a closer look at what Amazon has to say. Amazon says that this data center won't impact local wells or water supplies, and that they'll be set up to take water out of the Columbia within a year. I'm sure residents in Georgia heard similar promises, and then they found out that the local data center had an unregistered water connection that had pulled 30 million gallons of water out of the system before the utility company caught on. Our county has been in drought conditions more often than not for the past decade. Can we afford a neighbor pulling millions of gallons of water out of our supply when the city of College Place has an entire section on their website encouraging residents to conserve water with tips like minimize flushing the toilet and only wash dishes when necessary? Sure, Amazon says they'll develop a system to pull water from the Columbia instead of using local potable water sources. Sure, they say their data center won't impact local water supplies. Why don't we make them prove it before they start construction instead of just taking them at their word? Amazon says they will treat wastewater to local standards, and the only changes to the water are an increase in mineralization similar to a household humidifier. Well, the data center seems a little bit bigger than a household humidifier, so I think we're kind of dealing with a bit more wastewater than that. Amazon probably said similar things about their data center down in Hermiston, and then it turns out they weren't even monitoring wastewater to ensure that they were compliant with state and local standards. Amazon was in discussions with the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality about developing wastewater treatment ponds on their property, and it turned out that they had already built the pond before they even submitted their plans, much less received approval. Amazon says they'll treat wastewater and that it won't have any more impact than the humidifier to keep on the bedside table. But why don't we make them show us the plan before we let them break ground? Amazon says a lot of things. They say what they think we want to hear, so we'll just let them build in our backyard. They say whatever they need to get a data center built as fast as possible before anybody looks into it too much. But we're not without options. I am calling on all of my county commissioners to enact a 1-year moratorium on new data center construction until we can be sure that these data centers are in our best interest, not Amazon's. If you're unwilling or afraid to enact a moratorium, the very least you can do is direct the Office of Community Development to ensure that a complete environmental impact statement is completed before any permits are approved. And EIS will ensure that we don't have to just believe what Amazon says. We can study how this data center will impact our homes before it is built, instead of taking Amazon at their word and being the next community to fall for their lies. Amazon is a multi-billion-dollar company. They can afford to foot the bill for an EIS, and there's no reason it shouldn't be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.